Now we're good. Um, Her name is familiar, but I don't know any more about it than that. Tell me.
Well, so I wanted to try to stay on focus. I wanted to talk to you and then play something for you, but I thought I've been trying to take care of her and do other things. So I'm like, I'm just going to play this portion of, so I started watching her on YouTube. I've watched her before, but for some reason recently I've gotten into watching a lot of her videos.
How long has it been since you've come across her content?
Maybe December, January, maybe.
Okay.
My time frame is just horrible.
It's okay. Like around the first of the year. Got it.
Yeah. And I really, really like a lot of what she's saying. And so I went ahead and joined her honeyseed.com and I joined a monthly thing where I can go, which is kind of cool. They have like 3 things going on, and one of them is like called the Think Tank, and then Harmonious something, and then Game Night. So it's really neat because people get on and they start playing these games about when things happen. And it's fun for me to just listen to because there's no way I can get any answers, but I'm still learning. Another one is when we break out into like sessions and we get to talk to each other. So I get to talk to other people, and you get to talk for so many minutes and then you switch again. So that's really neat because I got to meet this one lady who takes care of her 94-year-old father. And the recording I'm going to play for you, she talked earlier, and I was like, oh, I know what that's like. It totally related to this lady. And because she was saying, yeah, my dad fell, so I had to stop from listening to you guys and get up 3 times. And I'm like, I know that one, And so I eventually got to talk to her, which was probably the next day. And she said, oh, when you were talking, I can relate to you. And I said, you too. And so it was really neat because it makes you feel like you're not alone,
Yes.
And you get to talk to people that wouldn't join this if they weren't out for it, for something positive. So it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable opening up to people. So that made me feel really good. So, and then the other one that made me feel really, really amazed about so she talks to her higher self, and she's really neat. And they've already had all these meetings. So I'm the new one. And the first one I did last month. And I said, oh, I'm new. I don't know what I can do here. And I don't know what I'm allowed to ask. And I say that because people were asking all kinds of things. And so, and this is towards like the end. And I thought I'd put my hand up. So she goes, this is for people who want to do humanitarian projects. And I'm like, well, why are other people asking private questions then? It's like, I'm like, well, I guess I'm glad I asked that because maybe everybody else will quit asking private questions. They want a reading and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to take advantage of her like that. And I thought, wow, guys, because she does a Q&A on YouTube, and she's like 3 months behind. So when she gets people's, you email her, and a lot of part of it makes me feel like I wish I could help manage them. But if they want to roll like that, then just roll. But if I was in her position, I'd say, okay, for you need to go to this part, scroll down to the 5th session or video, and you'll get all your answers there, instead of like taking all this time up answering the same questions over again, which takes up a lot of, to me, unwanted time. And only I think that way because time is so precious for me. Like when I have 4 days of 8-hour nurses, that's for me. Well, not really. I have to still go run into Rite Aid like I work there. It's a joke. Are you here to pick up your check? I'm like, I know, I wish, because, I'm always picking up meds for her. But so she told me that, and I said, oh, well then I'll tell you what I have. And she goes, oh, okay. Because she told me that if I didn't want to do a humanitarian project, that I should go visit the other portals, whatever you call them. And I said, well, I might belong here because I have a Rife machine, and I've had other people, other psychics tell me that it works. And she said, oh yeah, yeah. And so she's talking, and I said that I had one, I wanted to work on people and stuff. And she said, yeah, it works. And I said, well, I told her I've had it for a couple of years, but I've gone through a lot, and I'm getting ready to set it up in the room, which I've had it for 2 years and I still haven't set nothing up.
Now explain what this is. Tell me what it is.
It's so the guy's name is Royal Rife, and he made the Spooky 2 machine, and it's a frequency healing machine, and it also does plasma healing, and it's got some attachments, and it changes the frequency. So there's actually YouTube videos to watch that talks about, and even sometimes plays the frequency noise for that. I'm sure it helps, but what to degree also could also mean based on where you're at, whether it will work or not, you know.
How'd you come across it, Barbie?
Michelle Fielding, and that's what I told them. And some of the ladies are like, oh, like they knew who I was talking about. Michelle Fielding she's from the UK somewhere. She has an accent. She talks to, she's a medium. She talks to a lot of angels, guides, different people. And she says a lot of stuff before it happens. So it's really interesting to, and what's really cool is she'll say when she's not really wrong, but just wrong timing, that some things, and she explains to people that sometimes when I tell you something, I'm learning that it's later and not right now. So even though she's good, she's also humble by saying, this is what's going on. So I appreciate that in people. So, so when I was talking to Honey, which, there's this long discussion with everybody, right? And I'm clear over here. So I've already listened to a lot of it.
How many people are in one of these sessions?
Oh, wow. There's there's maybe 3 pages of squares of people's faces. So there's a lot of people that you raise your hand, you wait your turn to talk. I didn't want to talk too soon. I wanted to really listen to what was going on and everything. But the interesting thing is that with me, she paused and didn't say, okay, Jennifer, your turn. She paused. And then she said, and your daughter's going to get better. And I was like, oh. And I was like, which she didn't do that before. So I know just by her voice, it was almost like her higher self told her to tell me that, because she paused too long and didn't just, continue on. So the next next video, I tried to spend some time, like, what would I ask her that is not only about Jesse, but not to be too private, but also about my Rife machine, because I had a renter for a while and they moved out. So I'm rearranging rooms, and because I have a friend that lives over in Bernie and she's raising her 2 boys, and she's been going through chemo for like 5 months now. And I would like her to come over. And when she's got the energy to, so I'll have a room for her and the boys to come. They were going to come spring break, but I don't think she said she's well enough yet to travel, to drive. So maybe April or whatever, but because the boys have never seen the ocean, so she wants to take them here. They're only like 8, and I think they're 8 and 10 now. Anyway, so I'm getting the rooms almost done. I got to set all the machine up and make myself like an office / closet, because my room the closet over here is just full of Jesse's meds and diapers and stuff. So I need my own space. So I'm in the process. The next process is learning. And I don't learn like other people do. Well, it's going to be so much fun. But I will say, I have been having lots of ear ringing. Oh my gosh. I mean, I had before, but oh my gosh. And then it disappeared for a while. Like, I don't know, maybe I needed a break. And then all of a sudden it'll be one after the other. And I'm just like, thank you, you know.
There's no rhyme or reason to it, I've learned. But you can't ignore that it's happening. And you start to sense the energy changes when it does. That's what I would suggest. Focus on it, how it feels. What's the vibration of that? And then later, the dots will connect. But you got to go through them a few times. So you got a fucking frame of reference to understand what it is that this sensation is all about. Because that idea that they kind of blew us off when we were kids, that's tendonitis and here's how you cure it, and it is not that at all. Now, when you start to look at it as a frequency that you can sense, here is the first step in understanding what a vibration is and how you connect to other things, and how really, without these words, I could really communicate to you, because I can do that using those tools.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. I've been one of the recent things that has happened to me is I was in that room that I have all my stuff in, but the room is like a walk-in closet. So that's the stuff I'm moving to a bigger room. But I was sitting there trying to find something, and I'm thinking about my technology sitting there, and I heard my grandma say, Barbie? And I'm like, Grandma? And that's all I heard. And I haven't heard from her. I was very close to her growing up. She taught me manners and be polite and get your elbows off the table and, you know, just close your mouth. She used to do this to me a lot, like close my mouth. But I had extreme tonsils and adenoids, and I had to suck in air to breathe. She didn't know that, but she just didn't want, you know, you're going to catch flies. But I'm like, I'm trying to breathe here. I finally did get him out. But you know, I spend weekends with her, you know, all the time growing up. But then a lot of family stuff happened, and we didn't talk for a while. And then I saw her. I wanted to reach out to her. She saw my girls when they were little, and then I went and saw her when she was I went and spent time with her when she lived in Kingman, Arizona. And then I went and saw her when she was in the hospital, and she passed a few months after that. And I just never even heard from her. And that's been probably 10 years ago. So I didn't hear nothing from her. My other grandma, who I wasn't very close to, but when she did pass, I know my family was mad that I wasn't there at the hospital. And I'm like, oh, I'll get there tomorrow if she's still there. It's not that I didn't love her. It's just that I know that she's going to be all right with whatever I'm doing. But what my lesson was is they don't realize it's not my grandma that needs me. It's all of them. They're the ones that are like, I can't do this alone. I can't believe you're not here. You know, why aren't you getting here? I'm just like, and inside me, I'm kind of laughing going, because I didn't want to say it, but I just felt like saying, because you guys don't understand, you know, I don't have to be there. Grandma's going to always be around me. But it was like a few years later, maybe 3, I woke up. I don't know if I told you this before, but I seen her face inside my head. And so I'm part Choctaw. So she's got a Choctaw nose. She's got an Indian nose. And I saw her whole side of her face inside my head. And I'm like, and I'm laying there because I'm waking up, and she kind of goes through me or something. And I'm like smiling, going, oh my God, that's you, Grandma. Because I knew that was her. Maybe that was, she knew how to let me know that because we weren't really close, that she knew that I knew that going through my head or picturing her was going to tell me my best way of knowing, yes, that's you, Grandma Johnson. Her name is Miriam Johnson. So when I got my grandma Tinky was her name. Her name's Tinky. And I was just like so happy the rest of that day. I was just like, yeah, finally, thank you. I haven't got nothing anymore, but really it's kind of hard to get a hold of me. I'm just so busy, and I used to have 2 nurses. Now I'm down to 1. So anyways, so I was really pleased with that session I had. So now I'll play you. I have 2 phones, so that I was going to send it to you. I have no way of sending it because this one's called the this is called the think tank. This is the one. Okay, so I didn't finish. This is where you get together and you talk about what you're going to do if you get money for humanitarian projects. And people ask, well, how do you this? How do you that? All this kind of stuff. And so her answers is if you want to be a part of it, to let the military know, try to buy some Zimbabwe money or some dong, Vietnamese dong, I believe. She goes, just spend $20, just get something. And it's put on record she goes, they listen to everything. So, and I know they're listening to us. So they know that you're buying and that you have a project. And if you get reached, you'll either get an interview or get called, or you might even just have money show up. And that's on the level that you are on. They already know like your intentions. And people are on this talking about they want to house all the animals that are going to get displaced. They want to help children. They want to help new schools. I mean, it's just everybody's got a whole bunch of really, really, really amazing ideas how they want to help with this money that is supposed to eventually come to people. So when she was saying that on the other session, I went ahead and bought some money, and it came in. I have it so that it's been, I guess, put in record that they know that I'm reaching out, that I want to help, which will be with my machine when I learn how to use it. So that's what this is. Everybody talks about what they want to do. And then some people are pretty old, and one of them saying that she would like to go into a med bed. And so Honey tells people things that her higher self is talking to your higher self to tell you what's okay to tell you. So some people get more information than others. So like this lady who's 70, she said that, well, you're going to get money, but instead of you doing something, you're going to find organizations that are going to be like help the homeless. So you're going to find places that need the money to run things, and you're going to find out whether they're a good place or a good source to give that money to. So everybody's going to have their little things that they're going to do. Everybody's not going to have some big project they're going to do. They're going to receive a bunch of money, and all of a sudden they're going to go, oh, who do I want to help? And you can spread that out. So don't feel bad if you don't have the energy and the time and can think of a project. So I thought that was really neat, because I didn't exactly know that this was what it was until I started really listening to everybody at different ages all over the world too. I mean, there are people who are supposed to be sleeping that are on these calls. They wake up from Australia and stuff. So it's really fascinating. I'm really excited about it. She does talk about the med beds to people, and just so many things that a lot of other people talk about too. So I was really excited, because after all this was done, I've also had some other readings from psychics that I've had before, and they talk about me moving to Mount Shasta. And like 4 years ago, Delisa, can't think of her name right now, and Lisa Gunshore, they're both psychics. They have their own pages, and one time on YouTube, on live, I said something about me moving, and they both were going, oh, you're moving to Mount Shasta. And I'm like, oh, really? And they both agreed. So they both, so it's funny, because I've been in contact with them later on saying, hey, how's it look for me? So Delisa, she said she sees me moving to Mount Shasta. And there was another lady. I had some frequency healing thing through Honey C. Golden. I can't think of her name, but she did some healing for me, and that was really good. And we did talk about Jesse, and so can't remember all of that. I wish I had some contraption that records everything, because my phone, there's no place to put everything. I would like to make this collage. I just can't seem to figure out how to do it. I mean, everybody's got this like, they want to tell me stuff that will help me, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to write this stuff down, and then I can't find it all. I mean, it's just crazy. I know that when I get that room, I'm going to have to get organized. I have to get everything. But I've been told though, that I've been doing better ever since I've had Yedamaya or Cindy. I've been doing what she says, and what other people say too. You know, when I do the salt baths, I do it there too. And I also read, I've been reading some books about what Delisa told me to read, which is the Victim Triangle book. I can't remember that guy's name. But a book I want to give to you.
I won't read it.
You won't read it? It's called, I'll just tell you what it's called. It's called The Child of God. And it tells about the Lemurians and the girl.
Is that you illustrated a triangle? Is this the same book?
No.
Okay.
No. This is.
I've heard of the book.
Oh my gosh. It's about that girl that's in Lemuria, and then they end up kidnapping her, taking her to Atlantis, and how it blew up. This is a really neat book. I don't know anything about, and I don't understand a lot of big words. I'll definitely put that out there. But it's interesting. I would like to know what you think about this, because as much as I didn't understand and didn't know the big words, I would say 90% of it was really cool. And how they talked about the red crystal. And every time I read this book, I was thinking of you. I'm like, oh, I wonder what Joel thinks. Joel, I keep calling you Joel.
It's all right. It's all right.
Anyways, yeah, I do that when you're not around too. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna give this to Joel. I mean, Lowell. Yeah. But when I seen you, I was just gonna give it to you. Maybe somebody might want it or whatever. But it's a 1992 or 4 book, I think. Yeah. And I don't know who told me to read this, but there's
some vision in there. The guys captured some vision in there. Now, whether I resonate really well with the timeline you were kind of talking about, where somebody got kidnapped and went back to Atlantis from Lemuria, and that's when it blew up. Lemuria was long gone before Atlantis finally sank. That's why I have trouble with the idea that happened.
It wasn't the same time. It wasn't at the same time. They came in and took her, and then took her to probably their time, but it wasn't at the same time. So, yeah, I didn't clear that up, but because that's what I was not understanding either, because that's what people said, and I'm like, okay, I must have misunderstood a word, because I do that a lot.
That's okay. I was built to question everything before this came along. Now I just want to understand, to my own satisfaction, no one else's, that what you're putting out to me, I can find truth in. That's it.
Yeah. And I know that about you. And it's funny because I've always been that way. It's weird. I've always questioned things because of something that I think happened to me growing up. And then on the other end, from watching Sylvia Brown and being an X-File fan, like I always believed that anything was possible. So when I read this, I saw this, I was thinking, I wonder if you are going, okay, this is right, but that didn't happen. If it did, it happened at another time. Because from what I'm finding out through a lot of people is it's hard for people, not that, it's hard for the other realms or dimensions, their language to come down and try to tell you in your brain how you're going to interpret something. And I'm thinking, well, I'm glad they didn't come and talk to me, because I wouldn't be able to, I'd be like, okay, what is that word? Because I don't even know. And I'm supposed to write that down. I don't even know what I'm writing. You know what I mean? I'd be, they would say, this is a horrible student.
You know, we made mention of words not that long ago today, and that's exactly right. With the Lemurians excite me in one way when they said in no uncertain terms that it's time for humanity to understand how their vibration, to understand the way that they vibrate so they can communicate with us. They're not going to speak like this, and nor are other sentient beings we're going to come in contact with pretty soon. Because it's not, I focus on the Lemurians and Inner Earth because that's kind of, where I fit into the scheme of things, but I'm not lost. There are other beings here on the planet that are from somewhere else. And when you vibrate at the same level that the Lemurians do, guess what? You can experience those beings too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is just a really neat, it's just a really neat journey of what this person says that happened back then. And I think that with anything that anybody writes, or I'm not sure what the percentage of it is, but it's really hard. I think if I was to do this, to write something based on the time frame, because even a lot of people are saying we're only at 2014. We're really not at 2023. We're at 2014, and we're going to go back to the real calendar, which is I think 13 months.
Where do you get this stuff?
Oh, I'm hearing this from all over the place.
I mean, only in this dimension do we measure things in a linear calendar like that. And the next place you go, they don't measure in years at all. Right. And we won't get that then. But that's just a different kind of perspective you've got to just look at.
Right, because they're saying that we used to go to the whatever that calendar is called, and then the cabal changed it to the 12 to mess everybody up and to cause all this change in the weather, like programming. So we were supposed to have I forgot what they call it, but I just listen to it. I don't necessarily retain 100% of it because it just kind of flows in and flows out. But they're all saying also that it's all disappearing though, with all this stuff,
right?
Because it's not going to hold where we're going. And
that's right.
It's really cool.
The vibration's too low. It can't go where we're going to go next. It's too dense, too heavy. It's not going to be light enough, and the frequency's not high enough to go where we're stepping into. And the things that you and I can experience now. I'm happy to hear you when you're talking about your grandma. And that shouldn't really be a surprise. Your first grandma that you were so comfortable with, whatever you thought you had communication with back then, you knew that then. So it shouldn't surprise you that the next one and others will be stepping up because you have the ability to do that.
Yeah, I think that for me, I think they know I am too occupied with making my daughter come first. So having somebody else come in and be a part of my life right now to maybe have that connection, I think they know that it would be too overwhelming for me, but just to say my name and know that they're here was comforting. And I think they probably knew that that's what I needed.
Honey, that's why they did it.
Yeah.
They did that to express support in a way that you would be able to feel it because they're there all the time. You're just coming into your awareness of all of that and how maybe that help that they're talking can be tangible here. Because that's all you need to do is once you bring something into your awareness, bring it into your physicality is absolutely the next step. So they're here now because the timing was right for them to show up and for you to realize that they're here. And all the things that they gifted you, they're here to support all that and all the other resources they've got at their disposal.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with that, because whenever I was busy moving paperwork and can't remember, I was looking for something for her and in the other room. So I'm just moving stuff. And when I heard that in this ear, my left ear, I went, wait, what? And I was like, oh, that was my ground. Because my Tinky has a very distinct voice. And I'm very, very audio bad. Sometimes it's just overwhelming. I mean, even though I have some type of hearing distortion on certain noise, I could be driving with the windows up and be pulling over, and the girls are asking me, what are you doing? I'm going, you guys don't hear that siren? And it's like coming, but nobody can hear it but me. And I'm just like, I mean, I could talk to you like when we first met, and you can call me 2 years later and I'll know exactly who you are. And I can talk to you and have a short conversation, because I've done this to people when they've called me before. And when they're talking, I'll say their name and they'll go, oh, you know who I am? I go, yeah, we talked, what, a year ago? And they're like, oh, I mean, I don't know if it's one of my gifts and what's that going to do, but man, I can't sing, but I sure can hear. It's kind of interesting. But I'll play this video because it's or I'll let you hear it. I don't see it. I don't know how I'm gonna.
How long is it?
She not very long, like maybe 2 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I didn't.
Okay.
I just know I'm at the end. I hope you can hear it.
Barbarella.
Mm-hmm.
Hi there.
And I'm so nervous.
Hi.
I don't know why.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody again. I don't know why I'm nervous every time I do this. I had to write things down because, I'm trying to multitask here. So I'm just gonna. So I had a reading the other day from a psychic, and she told me I was going to be moving around 18 months to Mount Shasta. And my question is why am I moving to Mount Shasta? Is it because the Rife machine works better there? Is it the ley lines? Is it business?
It's the people underground.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. I know about the Lemurians. I just didn't know if there was. I know it's magical there and stuff. I just didn't know if that was, because I was told I was going to meet somebody that would help me do the machine there.
Well, I think they're going to be able to increase the frequency, and I think that your daughter is going to she's going to get a lot of help there. So it's going to feel like magic, basically.
Well, I knew that I was going to move there someday. And when she was telling me 18 months, I pointed to my daughter. I'm like, what, she's going too? And she said, yeah, but I told myself I was never going to move there until I didn't have her anymore. I just didn't want to put her in the winters over there and risk not her getting any help.
I think she's going to be slightly better before you go. And then, I mean, honestly, she'll be quite a bit better, I'm getting, before you go. But what they have is something that can continue the healing.
Well, it's since you brought up my daughter, I was going to ask you if you don't mind. Is she going to, you talk about like the Down syndrome people, which I love to death, but they're going to say the same. But are people like my daughter, is she going to have a gift, or or how does it work for people like her that are only 8 months old mentally? I mean, I know she's more than that, but
it'll be a slow process. Like the more injured the brain is, I get the longer it's going to take for them to get totally well. But she'll probably be in a med bed at least 3 times before you go, and that's going to help her. Probably, it'll get her to the age of like 5. So she'll get to 5, and she'll have the ability to continue to grow up in her head. And get to the point where she's, basically a grown-up. However, if you move to Shasta when she's equivalent of 5 years old in her head, that's going to speed her up.
Do you see that in 18 months for her then?
Yeah. On the current timeline, I see her around 5 years old, in 18 months. Yeah.
Am I going to start having gifts when I move there too?
Yeah, everything will expand when you move.
Well, and I didn't really want to charge people to use the Rife machine. I mean, I already have an income, and a medium told me that I had to have some kind of energy exchange.
You do.
And so I don't, I don't know. It's going to be really hard for me to help people and take money from them.
Have it be a donation and have it be for the place that you have it. So have it in an office or like a little place that's not your home. It's not supposed to be in your home. So you need to pay for that place. So just take that and use that for that.
I'm glad you said that, because I didn't know if I should how I was going to get over there and do any of this, because I knew that I wanted to go to Mount Shasta. I just like going from here to there, even with her so medically fragile and trying to have a business. I'm like, I don't know how that's possible. I want to do it, but I just, I just don't know how much help I'm going to get.
It'll get easier and easier over the next 10 months, I'm getting. So that 8 months will be more about planning, and your daughter is going to do quite well after that 10 months. So, and that's on the current timeline. So there's a little bit of, give and take there, but It feels really good for her to get much better than she is right now.
So Mount Shasta is just amazing for her then.
Yeah, it's really good for her frequency, and it'll help her expand a lot faster. Yep.
Okay, I only have one more question, and hopefully
that's about the money. The next one was about the money, because everybody's talking about how much to buy, and I told her, I said, well, how do you know that the military is going to accept it? Because it looks like monopoly money. It looks like fake money. And I even got a certificate. She goes, it doesn't matter. It's your intentions. She goes, they're going to accept whatever you did because you're intending on wanting to do a humanitarian project that you want to help people. So I said, oh, okay, then I'm good. But it's funny that before I even talked to her, other psychics have said that they see her getting better. And I was like, oh, okay. But I always felt like, I've heard so many people talk about the med beds. I've heard people talk about there's 3 of them. I heard people talk about 1 of them. I've heard people talk about Trump using the med beds for all the people that were underground, all those kids that came up. You don't think
none
any
of that
true?
is real. None of it.
How come?
I want to think that med beds are real.
Mm-hmm.
However, do you really think that there's some magical device that goes over our carbon bodies and just fixes it like we see it on TV? It's the only place we're going to get to see that. That's because these bodies are carbon. Where we're going is not carbon-based anymore. Your light body is now crystalline. That's where we're going. I would love to tell you Jess is going to get better, honey. I would love to, but not in the body that she's in. And you even know that. Her soul is alive and well. And I'm telling you, it expands way beyond 5 fucking human years I can tell you that whatever is in that young lady's Akash is another gift waiting to be unwrapped. And if we think for 1 minute that it's suspended by what we think she can and can't do right now, we got another thing coming, because she's a gift. She chose this for whatever reason. And it's hard for me to say those words in third density, but she picked this for her incarnation. And what a wonderful, strong, courageous soul she was to do it. And look what you did to support that journey along the way. Not like you question it. And as much as you could or couldn't bitch about it, you just don't. One, yes, she's your daughter, but I've seen mothers and daughters who don't get along. So you were there to assist her because that's the nature of who you are. I think the whole idea about you being drawn to Shasta, honestly, the first day that we met, I thought you did live there. You were in your element, and there's just a resonance that you get when you're there. And I can tell when I've seen you in other places, it ain't the same. Even when you're sitting over there, it's not the same. But I know that firsthand. I've been there and spent enough time there that whatever is there is, you can carry away bits and pieces of it, but that's unique to Shasta. If you go there, you'll come away with some of it, but it's not like a commodity. It's some kind of energy that I can't even speak to, but it is dimensional. For sure. Right. And oh my God, love the fact that you can talk about connections to higher things, and you realize you had this gift before. You point out lots of times that you've been busy. Yes. And that's the reason why these gifts haven't really flowered anymore, because you've been distracted by all the other things you've been trying to manage. But I think now you want it enough that you're going to set aside the time. And you're trying to do the best you can, trying to manage Jess and everything else that you have to manage, and still crawl down those rabbit holes for some help. I want you to let me know about the rabbit holes that you found. And when I see one that just doesn't resonate, I'm just going to give you that perspective, and then it's your decision to make. I'm not here to decide yes or no. But man, I've been to Telos. You know that, right? Yes. Oh, yeah. And you know how many medical facilities they have there? That ain't the kind of healing they do. Their healing is about spiritual empowerment and not physical.
She wasn't saying they're gonna do it. Just that it was going to be healing there. And the Rife machine, that it's supposed to raise the frequency when I use that over there. But
now let me stop you there for a moment, because I don't know anything about the device. I haven't been around it. Now, I can't speak intelligently about it at all, but I will say this. I know that there are devices, when you're talking about change in vibration and frequency, yes, they can work. We finally, here is where a really good demonstration of humans figured out how to use the technology beneficially. And so I'm not ruling out that that device doesn't do what it does. And if you have one, then we need to talk about the next level of conversation, which is this young lady. You're not charging for the machine. I would still, the advice to kind of just keep it on the down low, unless you want to register yourself as a small business, just keep it on the down low and do that kind of healing for donations like had been suggested. I think don't feel bad about getting money. One is the universe is all about balance. And if somebody wishes to gift you something and you say, no, you've stopped their flow. You didn't allow them to give, and you certainly didn't receive. So let's look at that way. And there's other things that you talked about you wanted to do if you had additional money. Well, let's figure out a way to use the machine that you've got, you already made an investment in, that people are going to benefit from the service. Here's what you're charging for. Not the experience they're going to get. I think of it, it's a jolt I'm going to get. No, they're paying for your time. Your time. That is worth something.
Yeah. And you said, what did you say? So I think the reason why I have a hard time taking money from people, because I sat and thought about this too, is that I've done a lot for other people and I didn't expect anything in return, because I enjoy doing it anyways. Like I enjoy cleaning people's houses, And I'm like, I enjoy doing it because you make things look nice, and I get to actually exercise at the same time because I'm busy, 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 busy. So I'm like, I'm getting something out of it too. And then there was times I'd help family members and people out. And then when I ask for help, they're like not around. So
Yeah.
I'm
suggesting this is a way for Spirit to show you another way to have some additional financial resources that you're going to have use for later. Here it is. It's almost found money if you think about it. Get past your ego getting in the way of you not wanting to charge people for that, because honestly, the ones that you're going to treat are going to want to, they're going to want it. I appreciate, because I'm built the same way. I give without any expectation of things in return. But even I learned along the way that it made my life really rocky because I didn't learn how to receive.
Yeah.
Now I know how. And the balance is amazing. It's still a little embarrassing at times for me to accept gifts and well wishes and
that's me.
whatever.
Oh my goodness. I can't handle that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
We got to get over it, because there are going to be other uses for that spiritually that we're going to be able to use those resources for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other thing I could think about is too, I love to travel. I wanted to be an airline stewardess because I just loved going places. And the Spooky 2, when you go on there, there's different things and you can buy. Well, I bought the top one because it's got portable ones. And I thought, well, if she ended up in the hospital, I could be running it on the side because, I want to see if that helps too. And if it does help her, then I know that I can help other people. I don't know what I don't know what I'm going to tell the people, if anything, in the room, because some hospitals might disagree with it, which might cause a problem, which might cause a person to take even longer to heal. But I do have traveling devices, and part of it, I'll take a picture of it when I get it ready, but it looks like Frankenstein works in there. All the equipment looks like Frankenstein stuff. It looks fake, but it's kind of cool and funny at the same time. But if you look up Michelle Fielding and look at where she interviews this guy for the Spooky 2, there's a video that talks about the guy, or you can look up Spooky 2, letter 2. I mean, number 2. And you look up the guy's name who invented this. His name is Royal Rife. And it's
RIFE.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they have a video that talks about Tesla's technology, what Tesla's technology, what it did, and how it cured people, how they took it away. But this Royal Rife guy, a long time ago, he copied or did whatever to make the Spooky 2, and the people that you buy this from is out of United States, because this is United States is definitely not into helping anybody. You have to figure this stuff out on your own. So Michelle Fielding's from another place, and she interviews him, and there's some other people that interview him also, but that's where I got the idea from to do this, because I wanted to use it on me. I wanted to use it on her. They have so many settings to get rid of migraines, get rid of, like, she's got gallbladder stones, and I want to work on that, because a couple summers ago she had, I think I told you, they tried to take her gallbladder out like 4 times, and then the 5th time she went under was just to redirect a tubing. So
how long have you had this device? And I guess it's not a device, it's a contraption. Yes,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
How
it's so
long have
funny.
you had it?
I can't wait to get my room ready, and I'll show you the equipment, because there's this round ball and it has these tubings that come out. It's just I've had it for 2 years. But what happened is I got the divorce, and then she had all those surgeries that they said that if she ever got put under and was intubated, that she probably won't go through, she won't recover from that. It was a mess. I was a mess. Yeah, it was really weird. I was actually more proud of myself because, you know, that knowing feeling that I used to have it really well, but I'm slowly getting it back. But I knew when I was sitting in this giant ICU room at the Children's Hospital and waiting for her to come up, I never felt that she wasn't going to come up and be okay. But when there's like 15 to 20 people in the room and they're getting ready to pull it out and put everything back on her, but also another team ready that if it doesn't work out, they move and another team places it back in her lungs. It's like, and then you got several different doctors and it's chaos. I mean, it's very frightening for somebody who's never seen that before. But I've gone through a lot with her already, but and everybody kept looking at me and I'm like, she's got this, you know, and every time they bring her up, it was, matter of fact, the first time when she went down and she didn't come up, the doctor only came up and sat next to me, which is kind of scary because when you don't see your kid come up and only the doctor comes up, usually it's bad news, but I never felt that way at all. And she because for some reason I knew she was going to come and talk to me. I don't know why, but it wasn't going to be bad news. And she was just telling me what a fighter she is. I can't believe what a fighter. Your daughter is amazing. I can't believe she's still here. And I'm just like, she's been doing this to me all the time.
She's not done. She's got stuff she's got to get done.
I tell everybody, I go, yeah, you're not the first doctor that has been amazed by her. I go, there's some other ladies, other doctors here I can point out to you that are just like, they came to me privately and told me that we have learned so much from your daughter. And I said, yeah, I know. I've been here listening to mom screaming when their kids are nothing like my daughter and pass away. And you're like, I mean, what does that tell you? I mean, I already knew this, but it tells me that, you know, nobody controls anything about when it's time for you to decide when you're going to go or whatever it is, why you go when you go. But how you are here physically doesn't, you know, I mean, she's 27. So in America, that's a miracle in itself, just being here that long. But not only is that a miracle, setting that aside, but I do, the other part of me too, it knows that there's a reason for it.
That's right.
Her journey and what she's doing and what she's accomplishing. I'm here to protect her and help her so that she can do what she needs to do. And I'm keeping her safe. So it's not just a miracle. It's me being a part of what she's doing. And I know someday I'll probably know what all that's about, but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. But as soon as, you know, I was down 5 days. I had a nurse 5 days a week, like 2 years ago, but she only wants to work 4 days a week now. So I want to be in there 10 hours a day, figuring it all out in my own zone, you know. Capricorns, we just start something and just walk away like, yep, I know what I'm doing, but that's going to take me a while. Yeah, it's going to take me a while. I'll get there though. I'll get there.
I still think, I believe you're destined to end up in Shasta. Even you knew that before somebody told you from the outside.
Yeah. And every time I go walking here, there'll be a pine tree, pine, I just something about, being over there and being in the pine trees. The winter this year over there. Wow.
It's incredible.
It's crazy. Every place is, snow past. All you see is this tiny little piece of their roofs and everything. And
yeah, somebody had sent a photograph last month of the restrooms at Bunny Flat, and they had to dig it out so you could get to the stairs and up the stairs on the side. The snow was like 8 feet tall, except for those two areas, so you could get in there at all. Oh my God. And the mountain, I was remarking on this yesterday. The first year I went was July of 2020, and there was snow on the cap that year. So I figured, that's my frame of reference. There's always snow. That was in July. I figured that sounded good, knowing that it was, a glacier there long ago. Then the summer after, it felt, I don't want to say horrible. That's not what I want to charge my intent with, but I felt bad. There was no snow on her at all, and just felt like she was naked and like she was in pain. And then when you see this, holy cow, she's under like 7 feet of snow. It just makes me feel good for her. There's a blanket of, I forget, and it was Yaya that had helped me remember that snow has incredible healing powers. It's crystal. I totally forgot until she mentioned that, because when she was going on her little healing tour there at the beginning of the year, she was going in all those crazy places along the California coast while all that weather was going on. Are you serious, Cindy? Your guides are taking you there while all this is happening, and she, made her way through it, dodged it here and there, but yeah, all that was going on while she was there. She saw the residue of some of that reminder of what had happened while she was there.
Yeah, I actually sent her a picture of that rock area where she was when the tide and the big O swells came in. I emailed them to her. I don't know if she got them or not, but and this last 2-day thing that she had, oh man, I couldn't make it. I planned on just being there the whole thing, but like one person in the family after the other got some bug going around, and I was up at 2:00 in the morning. I felt like I had a ball of fire in my stomach, like literally on fire. And I'm like, do I have an ulcer? Like, what's going on? I've not felt this way before. And of course I puked one time and felt better, but I still was fatigued for those 2 days, and my energy was, and I have to take care of her at the same time. So I'm not going to pull myself down even more, trying to do something else. I try not to do more than one thing with her that has to do with a massive amount of my attention, because I know by what time it is what she needs. So at 3:00, I know she needs a med. Like, I scheduled you for 1 because she has a breathing treatment that lasts about an hour from 12 to 1. So my mind's on the hour all the time. I don't want to be this way, but I have to for her. I don't want to have to live by time and days and all that stuff. I would just love to be a hippie somewhere and just enjoy life.
One day.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm excited about that. But we don't got much time left.
No.
When's your journey? Aren't you going out to Ireland or all over there?
I was. That's been I'm not going yet. It's postponed. I'm going to make my way over there, but there's something else, and I may be visiting Germany soon, like really soon. And I'll know more about that tomorrow after a conversation. I got reached out by, there are these 3 women who are filmmakers, documentarians, and they've been doing some pretty cool, like internationally award-winning short films. Well, they've had this idea in the back of their minds for 6 years now about, a protagonist who discovers inner Earth and it's real. And then when they heard about my story, oh my God, we got a subject matter expert. So they want to do a TV series in Germany that's what it's based on. Oh, wow. I'll know more tomorrow after we talk.
I went to Germany when my third daughter, Judy, when she was in choir for high school, we had to go over there so they can go around and sing and then compete. My favorite part, because it was in March and I was freezing cold over there, was going into the churches. All the churches were just so pretty with everything. And then they would sing in there, and it was just, whoo, because they learned one song in German and they sang it like they spoke the language. And they would be in the airports and they would sing. We're talking about a big group, like
Mhm.
probably 40 kids, and people would just stop and just, it was a lot of fun. We went to new something castle. I can't say the word.
Mhm.
We walked up, we walked all the way up, and then if you go there to visit that castle, they'll do a tour. You don't get to see the whole castle. It's the one that they did for Cinderella. It's like that, they use that castle for the look of it. On your way down, treat yourself to one of those donut looking things. They're so good. And I've never seen it anywhere else. But it's not a donut. It's not a muffin. It's not a biscuit. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to, it was just amazing. And she has this little cart of, and there was snow around still when we went there. It was so cold. Yeah. It was, we stayed with people. I stayed at the mayor's house. Boy, do they eat different. They don't have. And then I stayed at this family's house, and the kids love speaking English to me. These like 3 kids, and I was
get a chance to practice.
Well, we did get to talk when we were at the table, but I was starving by the time we got back for whatever we were doing. I can't remember. And they said that they would have dinner for me when I got back. You know what their dinner was? Like breakfast. It was like pancakes and waffles, and I'm like, and they only eat like twice a day. So this lady, the mayor made me this lunch stack of bread and meats and cheeses and all this stuff. It was no sandwich or anything. And I'm just like, wow, this is cool. It was so neat. That was really, really neat. And then my daughter Judy got to go to a bar for the first time, which was all a positive thing because she doesn't drink and she'll never drink. But the family that she was staying at, they wanted to go eat. So they took the kids to the bar because they can drink at 16. Well, Judy was 16, but the rules applied in the United States to over there for all the kids. But her and her friends got to hang out with these older girls and their parents. So it was like we were there for like 5 days. So she had a great experience over there too. So it was Germany.
That's nice.
Germany was awesome. That was really cool. So are you supposed to stay there the whole time for the filming if you end up filming?
I don't know anything more about any of it yet. Tomorrow, like I said, I'll know more. But I feel like I've been on this hold for a while. I knew this was going to come along, that somehow I had been reached out a year ago by a production company, and they had grandiose ideas about what they wanted to do. And it was way bigger than what I saw. And then pieces of this and that showed up. So I think that the universe's plan was, see what the plan that we showed you with that guy, and you thought it was too big? Yeah, that is really what our plan is. You're just not going to do it that way. So now I'm hearing from people that represent pieces of this puzzle that I saw. And I felt like I've been waiting, not really making too many plans, because sooner or later you're going to go into production and you don't know how long that's going to take or where you're going to have to be. So just stand by while we work things out. You know how you and I like to wait for things? Yeah, not that good. But it all came out of nowhere the week before yesterday, and we'll find out more about it tomorrow. But they've been working on this project pretty much for the last 2 years. It's been in their heads for 6. Now it's starting to get merit, and we'll see. Then the only other thing planned, because Shasta, I got to get to Shasta. I'll be there pretty much most of July. I won't be there on the 4th of July, but shortly after that, and then I'll be there to the end of the month. Other than that, don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's any events in July either. I know I had like one event after another, but the one guy, Scott, I can't say what he goes by, Shalom, or I don't know what it's called. The one who does the other events. His event in March got postponed to May, then got postponed from May to from March to May. No. Might be June now. because I think he tried to make it during Mother's Day weekend, and a lot of people weren't going to be able to make it. And it's weird because I like going to his just because they seem to be more personal. There's less people, but then I like going to the other one because then you meet a whole lot more other people, but it's still a little like the last one, there was like 3 spots to go watch events. And that was like, whoa, of course I got sick again and didn't really get to do anything, but
Right.
I know not to drink the water. I can't believe my body can't handle all those minerals. Like, I guess you have to grow up drinking that water, but I can't drink it. Can you drink it?
It's the only thing I ever want to drink. Once I had that, I don't want any beverage, period.
My body can't handle all those minerals. When I was little and we lived up in Alaska, same thing happened up there with my mom. It was really bad for my mom. She had to drink bottled water because I was literally felt like I had the worst flu ever drinking that water. I couldn't keep it. And it's just a lot of, I don't, maybe my body's just I don't know why. I kind of feel like taking the water home and taking a drop of it and putting it in regular water, because what am I going to do when I move there? I mean, it was their city water that I was drinking.
Wow. Oh, so you're not talking about Headwaters water?
No, from the hotel, I was drinking their water.
Oh, go, honey, get your water at the Headwaters.
What's that?
You haven't been to City Park and seen where the beginning of the Sacramento River is?
Oh no, I haven't tried. I know that. So when I have enough nursing and my mom, I have enough time to leave, go shopping, go there, get my room, and there's already events going on. So I miss out on a lot of stuff.
Okay. We're going to see each other this summer. I'll take you there and show you where to fill your bottles, and you'll never want to have anything but that kind of ice cold alpine water ever.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know how they filter their water or what any of that is, but that was city water.
Yeah. Anything that comes out of a tap has been treated somehow.
Yeah. Here where I'm at, I have well water. So
that's good.
And they have a giant tank over here. So, and there's a lot of us. So everybody's going through that water. It's not just sitting there. So that I'm thankful for that.
Good.
I am excited about Mount Shasta though. I really am. But it's expensive to live there, but it's expensive to live here. But I own this mobile home. So yeah. We'll see.
You'll find your spot. If that's where you're supposed to be, then everything else is just going to be taken care of on the way there. So,
yeah, I believe that just because I always wanted to. I thought that I would someday, and then when other people are telling me that, it just tells me, oh yeah, I knew that. So that's cool. You're just telling me again what I already knew, which is good. Yeah, I'm excited. When I'm ready. Yeah.
Won't be long now. What else you got for me today? Not for me, no, other than that. Well, yeah, those little images I've been playing with, right?
Oh yeah.
Somebody suggested I should make a book.
Oh
because
yes.
They liked them so much, and they were going to Redbubble and they were buying more than one for their wall. So when they said that, I go, okay, you want like a coffee table book. So it doesn't have to be that hard. They're just pictures, right?
Yeah,
that's what you want. So yeah, I created one. It was about, I think it's 306 pages total. Other than maybe a half dozen pages, it's just picture of all the inner earth stuff in different categories. Well, when I was done with it, and I got on a tear. It wasn't like I didn't have all these pictures anyway. Really, I figured out how easy it was to put a book together when I did my first book, but I didn't care all that much about it then because it was just a book. And when you publish it on that platform, they send you one. So the first book, yes, I put lots of pictures on the inside. I wanted those to be full color, but I didn't need a hardcover book. I had, a soft cover. This time though, I thought, well, if this is going to be like a photo book, then let's see what they really do. So after I finished the first one, then I had all these other images of like beings, fairies, elves, sorcerers, wizards, light beings. And so within another 18 hours, I had produced a second book with over 300 pages with all that. And so like 7 days later, they send you one of the books. So these were going to be, I said, you produce it. I don't know if anyone's going to buy this, because if you're asking me for a hardcover, full color book, it ain't going to be cheap, but that's not for me to decide. You told me to put this together. That's what I did. Well, when the books came, I was blown away. Here's why. I really thought that when you produce something like that, because lots of those pictures had extraordinary colors, and that's what made them extraordinary, that they would be dull and I would be disappointed. I was not. Oh my God. And these books are freaking heavy. They're hard covers and that's shiny. Oh my God. So yeah, I was laughing about it when it was all done. I was telling my son, I put that together. I said, a week ago, this wasn't even on my radar. Now I'm holding books that I produced, somehow within the last week.
Are you going to, when you're talking, I have stuff that, I don't know if you work this way since you're a Capricorn too, but when somebody's talking, I could think at the same time. Is not all the time, but with certain circumstances and stuff. But what flashed in my head is, are you and Sherry going to do coloring books for the kids?
Sherry's taken all of those images and she's got plans for it where she's so cute. Before, she had narratives and storylines and stories. And then when she saw my images, they were great. They complimented what she was going to do. Well, now she's looking at my images and going, what story can I tell with those? When I've created them, I just give her the folders. And Sherry, something tells me I'm creating these for you anyway. So here, you have access to them. Do what you want. You're going to see a lot more of those coming through her. And that's great. If they can be used in some way like that, that's terrific. I've had 3 or 4 people, the fourth one was today. They wanted to use them for either the cover or the back of their book or whatever. Knock yourself out.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah. I wanted some clothes, but you kept coming up with more images. And I'm like, which one? It's really hard because I just love them all. And then I start thinking, well, I love them all, but what do I want people to look at? Because I'm not going to be looking at it when I'm wearing it. So what would I want people to look at that might want to question me? And then I'm like, okay, now I got to start all over and start going swipe, 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 and start looking.
It's funny you say that because I was telling, Mary, my beloved, about it. I've just kept it on the down low and, I don't promote it. I put it there. And at first, when I put it on Redbubble, my idea was that you can have print made to put on your wall. And that was pretty cool. Never did I think that would look cool on some apparel until Michaela from Slovakia did one and took a picture of it on the dress. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's when I showed it to Mary. She did the same thing you did. Now she's going through, the images going, swipe, swipe, swipe.
Oh my God.
So I've seen a couple of them in the house now, and I got to admit, I had no idea they were going to look like that. And they were amazing.
Do they do curtains? That'd be really cool to have.
I know they do shower curtains.
Like a frequency, look in my frequency room. That'd be cool. I'll have to go through that. Yeah, I can't wait to meet Mary too. And you knew her a long time ago? Is that right?
Met when I was in 9th grade. Yeah.
Wow.
I was a hockey player on the opposite side of town. Not bad parts of town, but where I grew up in St. Paul, there were 9 high schools. And I went to Johnson High School. She went to Harding High School. They're kind of both in the same section of town, the east side. So, I knew her through mutual friends. I
Oh,
used to play hockey and she was a cheerleader, and that's how it all started.
That's cute. That sounds like another book, actually.
You know what? It's funny you say that. When my life went along and the idea of, writing a book kept popping in my head, I always thought it was going to be me telling hotel stories because, they're humorous. And I got tons of them. I thought that would be the book I would write, not what I'm writing now.
Wow. Yeah. I know I've had a lot of psychics tell me that I should start writing and that they see me writing a book. And I'm like, I don't like to write. I don't have time to write. I don't even, yeah. And then they've even saw me writing like 3 books. I'm like, who's going to read what I'm writing down? Like another day of suctioning and giving meds and changing diapers. Like, well, maybe that's not the part that I'm supposed to write about. But I had a psychic, I don't know, 15 years ago tell me I was going to paint. And I'm like, paint? I am no artist at all. And my oldest daughter does paint parties. So I go to them because I want to support her. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be something I'm going to do. It's going to be my break. And I'm going to do something that I normally don't ever do. And I can't paint, but she's not the best instructor, but she has the ability to paint and draw pretty good. Ever since
That's why they serve wine at those parties.
Oh, I don't drink though.
Oh, unfortunate.
I mean, I've been told that I'm probably allergic to it. Another person told me it's probably the process of beer or whatever they're doing to it. But I also was told, and maybe you'll find this one out if you drink it all, that the stuff that they put in our stuff here in the United States is not in other countries. So if I was to drink a glass of wine or a beer or something, that I would have a different effect. Because if I take a few sips of alcohol, I feel like the room is spinning. It's like, I don't know if it's anxiety, but and I'll start throwing up just over sips of a beer. I've never been a drinker really, but and I'll buy a pina colada and I'll tell them hold the alcohol. Because
you want a virgin, that's it.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been told that too about some of the things that they add here is probably what I'm getting sick. My body can't handle whatever they're adding to, all of our food and all of our drinks and stuff. So I don't know, maybe some homemade stuff, maybe some Mount Shasta homemade from their water. Maybe I don't know. I'm always a little worried about it.
I'm surprised that, I shouldn't be. The whole first year I was there, and I was there for 5 weeks, as you know, I was buying water every day until I went back the next year and somebody saw me doing it. And they said, haven't you been to City Park, to the headwaters? And I said, well, I've heard about it. They go, why wouldn't you go fill your water there instead of continuing to buy it? And so when I finally had someone show it to me, and I did, then I kicked myself for how stupid I was the year before, buying 5 weeks worth of water, because I drink a lot of water while I'm hiking, and nothing was better than this water. Every time I leave, I can't carry enough home because I have nowhere to store it. And by the time it's gone, it's like, don't make me go back to even filter tap water again, please.
Yeah. It's interesting because excuse me, I'm prepared to bring water. I bought 2 of those jugs that go like this, and they got a little handle, and they're both glass.
Yeah. Yes.
And so I bought 2 of them so I can fill up the well water here and take it over there. But maybe I should only fill one of them so that the other one I can take to that city park area.
City water. Yeah. City Park. Yeah. Everyone that lives there brings their, what you don't be surprised to see people bringing 5-gallon, bottles. Yes. Those big blue bottles. Yeah. that's where most of the people that live there, that's where they get their drinking supplies. So they take it home in a
And so
lot.
if so I'm going, I think I'm going to May to that one guy who puts on, actually he's putting one on in May and August. But my oldest daughter's getting married in September, so I think I'm going to be too busy to go to that one. But can you bring like a wagon and put stuff in it and wagon it down there? Okay,
Lots
so
of people do.
okay. I just didn't know what the trail was like to go there, and if it was like so you just go into the water and fill it, or is there a faucet, or is it just a creek and people just, okay.
There's a place there when you see where this is, you'll get the layout right away, because there'll be people all over. They'll be in the water, and you'll want to go over where you'll see everybody's going to get water where it comes out of the mountain, out of the wall of dirt, where it comes out there. You'll want to get your water there. You don't want it, downstream where everyone's feet's been in here. But you'll get the technique. Now, I've found a spot where the water's coming out, and you can see it from where all these people stand, but no one ever goes over there unless you're just hiking and you don't go there to fill your bottles. You'll see when you get there, this area that I'm talking about where everyone fills their bottles. If you look up, there's kind of a trail that went over that. And if you follow that and go around the other side, you can come down on the other side of the where the river is there. And there's this cute little pool, much easier to fill your bottles, and nobody's there to disturb you. It's awesome.
Wow. And the water's freezing cold, right? It's not something you want to get in unless you're doing one of those challenges.
It's Arctic water, yes.
Yeah. When I went up to the City Ranch, they have this creek river, but it's in the ground. Like, it's not like you walk up to, and I mean, it's carved in the ground. So you have to kind of climb down there, and the water, I thought our water was freezing cold. Like with the Smith River, I think it's one of the cleanest rivers in the United States. But when I first touched it, I was like, where's the ice cubes? And then I went to Essetti Ranch to Mount Hood, where the water was coming down. That was freezing. Like, there should have been like chunks of ice coming down. I couldn't even get in the water. Everybody else was diving in it and everything and getting out really fast. Super cold. So I can't wait to fill this one, because I have a feeling it's actually closer to touch the water. So it's probably even going to be worse, because Mount Adams, you can see Mount Adams, and it's pretty far. And then the creek's right over here to the side. That's a pretty long distance. But Mount Shasta's water, and it's just right there. That's got to be freezing.
Right, that's right. It's snow melt, and like top of it's the beginning of the Colorado River, Sacramento River runoff. Yeah.
So that's pretty much where part of the Sacramento, or mainly probably the water, comes from then.
They say that's where it begins.
Oh, well, I hope. Well, I know that a lot of the lakes and the rivers, and like Mount Shasta, I don't even know what that looks. Shasta Lake, I don't even know what that looks like right now. I know I've been through there and just like was really sad about it. I'm just hoping that no more of that weather manipulation was going on anymore. I hope not. I hope that we keep all our lakes and rivers now, and nothing gets dried up. I think that's
lots of these aquifers filled. Shasta has come up dramatically. Lake Oroville has come up dramatically. Here where I lived in California in Sonoma, Lake Sonoma there came up. Like, there were areas where there's a marina there, and the marina was dry. I mean, it's not dry anymore.
Oh, good.
We'll see. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the snowpack and that kind of water release too. I'm hoping that it makes a bigger impact. Not, yeah, our lakes are filling up and that's great. Sounds like, drought. I don't know that it's entirely abated, but I really want to see if it's going to have an impact on Lake Mead and the Colorado River, because what was behind the Hoover Dam was frightening for a while. We'll see, because they were in the path of all this crazy weather too.
Yeah. 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 And I saw that Lake Shastina, which is north of, I didn't even know that was over there until I started taking my app and going, let's see what houses are over there. Like for the last 2 years, I've been searching, like, where do I want to live? And I saved a bunch of little places and I'm supposed to get a inheritance. So that might be what's going to help me get over there and have something. But I've been saving a bunch of cute little places. There's this one cute little place, but it's 55 and older. So I won't be 55 till January, but then she's 27. So they probably won't let me live there, even though,
There'll be other places for you, kid.
Yeah. I was like, God, I won't save that one, but it's fun because it helps me focus on what I eventually want to do.
Yeah, that's your focused intent. And whatever you're pushing out there is what I expect to get on the other end.
Yes. Yeah, very much. Very much. Well, I'm going to get some meds going for her. Here's, I pre-soak everything for her. But I do look forward to seeing you in, I think we're scheduled for July 15th. Yeah.
Yes.
My girls are excited. We've been trying to hike. Well, I've been flat hiking, by the way, because which is going to be way different, but I don't even know how far I'm going to be able to make it. But my girls, they're probably going to only go so far and then sit. We'll see.
It'll all be okay. Where I'm going to take you there's 2 spots that are sacred. I mean, there's a few places we could go look at, and if you haven't explored a lot, there are places you should see for sure. But that day when we're going to go hike, there's 2 spots, and we're going to pretty much drive to the first one, and the other one we're going to move up to the parking lot, and then maybe a 30-minute hike. It won't be. It's loose rock, so yes, we're going to be off the trail a little bit. But other than that, it's not that no one's going to get worn out.
Well, I go out to this one place and I do this 4-mile loop. And I have cabin fever a little bit. We've had so much rain. We've had snow.
Yes.
I don't know if I sent you pictures, but we didn't have not snow one day. We had snow several times within 4 days, and then it left and then it came again. And I'm like, this is record. I mean, people here were walking outside in the morning and they were all at awe. Just like, I mean, seeing snow on the beach here.
Yeah,
no.
That was unnerving. There was snow on the beach in Santa Cruz. That's unnerving.
Yeah. Wow. Santa Cruz. I've been there. That's probably a sight to see too, because I mean, it just starts getting warmer the more north you get. So it's probably why. I mean, we've had 28 degrees during the night and 30 during the day. We've never had that before. It's been real. I can't wait to get away. I'm even thinking about going to. So I didn't get to go to this trip last year, so I have a free flight. So I'm thinking about taking myself on I call it a 2-day vacation just because it takes me the other 2 days just to get there and get home. But I'm thinking about using the flight and just going to Vegas and kicking back by the pool and just reading, getting some sun, because it's been cloudy for a whole month.
Good for you.
Finally, today's Sunday is going to be sunny and tomorrow's going to be sunny. And then it's all crazy again. Crazy. So I'm thinking about doing that here pretty soon. When Vegas has warmer weather. I don't know when that is, but it might be June. I don't know when. I just want some heat, so I gotta get out of here.
Don't blame me. I'm in Minnesota. I understand what you're saying. Listen,
Oh.
I gotta roll. Honey.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon. Good luck.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.